Alabama did one thing exceptionally well while Gene Stallings was the coach. Bama won. Stallings led the Tide to an SEC and national championship, 6 bowl games, and 1 win shy of 70. But if the players were going to get Coach Stallings his 70th win before his retirement, they would have to do it against a program as steeped in tradition as Alabama itself, the University of Michigan. With 2 of college football's most storied programs meeting in Tampa's Outback Bowl, this Donnybrook of a New Year's Day defensive struggle would go down to the wire and become another Crimson Classic. Welcome to another installment of Crimson Classics. I'm Gary Harris. You know, the 1997 Outback Bowl signaled the end of one of the most successful eras in Alabama football history. Gene Stallings was going to step down, and the Michigan Wolverines stood in the way of Stallings' 70th career victory. Now, in his first season in Tuscaloosa in 1990, few would have ever guessed that Gene Stallings was going to be in position to win 70 games in 7 years. The Tide opened with 3 straight losses, but Stallings may have been the only man in Alabama who didn't panic.
Everybody hears the stories about his stubbornness. He ran the program. We understood from the very beginning. The first year that he was here, we're 0-3. I can remember going in on Sunday morning and sitting in a staff meeting, and it was totally quiet. He walks in from his office and sits down, opens up his book. He said, "Guys, they fire coaches at Alabama for going 0-3. But because of his direction, because of the way that he handled that during that period of time, he was unchanged other than getting the message, the fact is we got to win." And you know that in this profession. You know it even more when you're at the University of Alabama. He kept his staff together, he kept his players together, and eventually that turned it around to winning a national championship.
Stallings came back to Alabama after coaching under the most successful coaches in both the college and pro ranks, Tom Landry of the Dallas Cowboys, and of course, Paul Bear Bryant.
The thing that they had in common was both of them won, entirely different ways. Our X's and O's, when I was at the University of Alabama, was probably no better than anybody else's X's and O's. But our players thought they were. Just the fact that we had Coach Bryant on our sideline, and in the opinion of the players, was worth 10 or 12 points a game. Coach Landry, on the other hand, you can't believe how knowledgeable. I mean, I can't ever remember us calling the wrong play at the right time. It was nearly always a good play at the right time, good defense at the right situation. He was just so knowledgeable. He wasn't as close to his players as Coach Bryant, but yet he had the great respect for the players. So here's 2 guys that won in opposite directions, and yet the one quality that they had in common was that they won practically every Saturday and Sunday in entirely different ways. So it was good for me as a coach to see how 2 different people did it.
If Coach Bryant were here today, he would say the same thing that he had indicated to me and some of his coaches that he's had that's worked with him over the years. Don't ever try to imitate those of us that you be your own person. Use the philosophies, use the strength that you gain from someone. Coach Stallings was a lot like that. His mannerisms seemed to be. He never wanted to be and never wanted to take the place, because I don't know of anybody that can.
You know, one of the things I probably remember the most about Coach Stallings is you always came first. If you were one of his coaches or one of his players and you worked for him, you were very important to him. And you know, even when you were out in a crowd and there'd be a lot of people around in the position he's in, he's such a high profile, people trying to talk to him, but he did as good a job as anybody I've ever been around to focusing on what you were talking about. So if you had a conversation going with him, he focused on you and not the people around him. And
that's when my mom was on, her deathbed. She passed away of cancer my senior year, and Coach Stallings came right in the house and went straight to my mom and started talking to her. I mean, she might not have understood anything he was saying because she was drugged up on antibiotics and everything, and he went on right over and talked to her, and she did the best to communicate with him that she could, and I really liked that.
I know I had gotten in some trouble off the field going into my sophomore year, and he had talked to me the day before and told me to meet him in his office at 5 o'clock in the morning the very next morning. And now you want to talk about fear, that's fear. And he didn't have too many nice words to say to me over the phone. But when I walk into his office at 5 o'clock in the morning, is a 20-year-old kid that had really messed up and, 20 years old. Now, Coach Stallings understands that more so than some people. I know some people would say, still be screaming and ranting and raving and stuff like that. But, he comes in, where I walk into his office and he sits down and he asked me how I'm doing as a person, asked me how my family's doing, and we talked probably for 10 or 15 minutes about me as a person. And then he tells me what he's going to have to do, and asked me if I need any help in any areas, and that was it. His voice never raised, his demeanor never changed. He had a deep concern for me as an individual and not only as a football player. So, that probably sums him up just as good as anything.
The 1996 season had been another successful one at the Capstone for the Tide. Stallings announced his retirement following a 1-point victory over Auburn in Birmingham.
I did visit with the players and the coaches just a little while ago, and told them that it comes a time when you need to pass the torch.
And the mood in the locker room went from, we had just won one of the biggest games in definitely our careers, and the way we did it it was almost like you were standing in a funeral home.
You would have thought somebody died in that room. It was a very, very sad occasion. It was coaches crying, players crying, just, and here's a guy that you felt like would go to bat for you, and he always made you feel like that he had your back. And, I remember it being a sad occasion.
I decided to retire, maybe a week or so before the Auburn game. Was I ready to necessarily get out of college coaching? I was not. Did I think it was time for me to step aside to Alabama? I did, for whatever reason. And so I just decided after the Auburn game, I would announce my retirement. I think I told maybe the athletic director, the president, and Ruth Ann, that's about it. I didn't discuss it with the staff or anything else. It was a tough decision, it was a hard decision. But I felt like it was probably best at that time for the University of Alabama for me to step aside.
From standing on the shoulders of giants to becoming one of those giants. More Gene Stallings and Alabama football when we return to Crimson Classics. Houlihan Stadium, a.k.a. the Big Sombrero, was the site of the 1997 Outback Bowl and Gene Stallings' final game as Alabama's head coach.
It just sort of had a good ring about it. 70 wins in 7 years. And I think the players were concerned about it. They would like to, but I think nearly any group of players would like for their coach to win his last game. And we were playing Michigan, and it was going to be a tough game, and we all knew that, and we were fortunate to go ahead and win that game.
I don't think you could find two programs that had much more history than those two did to be on the field at the same time. So, they had a young man named Brian Greasy at quarterback who everybody had known from his dad, Bob. we felt like going in the game that it was going to be a struggle to win the game because of their size, and they had good speed to go with that size. But, you know, again, we wanted to win that thing for Coach Stallings, and it was an outstanding Michigan football team.
The two tradition-rich programs took the field on a sunny late morning on the first day of 1997. Houlihan Stadium, a.k.a. the Big Sombrero, was the site for the Outback Bowl and Gene Stallings' final game at the helm of the Crimson Tide. Alabama won the toss and elected to defer. After a Michigan penalty on the kickoff, quarterback Brian Griese starts from his 23. The Bama defense put pressure on the quarterback, dropping him for a 1-yard loss. Chris Howard finds a seam on second down, up the middle for 8. Cedric Samuel made the stop. Griese tries to go to the air on 3rd and 3, but the junior from Batesville, Mississippi to Shea Townsend knocks it away. 3 and out for the Wolverines. On Michigan's first punt of the day, the Tide gets a break. Punter Paul Peristeris had to avoid the pressure of Tim Bowens, and he shanks it right off his foot. The ball was down at the Michigan 28 for a negative 2-yard punt. On first down, junior quarterback Freddie Kitchens hits a swing pass to Dennis Riddle for 6 yards. Riddle could find nothing on second down as Clint Copenhaver brings him down for a loss of 1. On third down, Kitchens tried the flat again, but this time the Wolverines were ready, and they tackled Curtis Alexander for a loss of 3, bringing up 4th and 9.
John Brock is in to attempt a 44-yard field goal off the right hash mark. The snap, Chester Lewis. The hold, Lance Tucker. The kick is up. The kick sails. The kick is good. Alabama jumps on top by a score of 3-0. A 44-yard field goal by John Brock out of Long Beach, California. And the Tide draws first blood.
The Maize and Blue starts its second drive from the 20. Chris Howard tries to spin away from the Bama penetration, but Ralph Staten and Terrell Buckner stop him for a 4-yard loss. On second down, Griese finds Clarence Williams over the middle for 11 yards. After using a timeout, Michigan's Brian Griese finds Russell Shaw for a gain of 9 and Michigan's first down. Back to the ground the Wolverines go. Howard gains 3 before Kevin Jackson and friends bring him down. On second down, Howard tries the middle again with some success. Senior Terrell Buckner with the tackle. On 3rd and 3 from their own 43, the Wolverines opt to pass again. Griese complete to Ty Streets, but Fernando Bryant stops him a yard short. Time to punt again. After a much better punt this time by Peristeris, Bama starts from its own 19, and Riddle tries the left side with little success. Kitchens tried a little play action on second down, but good coverage by Michigan resulted in a 1-yard sack. Bama got its first down of the game when Freddie hit Michael Vaughn over the middle. After breaking a couple of tackles, the sophomore from Clarksdale, Mississippi ends up with a 14-yard gain. From the Bama 34, Kitchens finds safety valve Curtis Alexander, and he picks up 5 on first down. Tuscaloosa's own Dennis Riddle uses great vision on second down, turning this up the middle run into a big 16-yard gain.
I'll sum Dennis up like this. Dennis is a guy that you'd carry to war with you. You'd carry into a battle with you in football, and you'd also carry him home to your mama and let him meet your mama. tremendously a hard worker. Never gives up, and Dennis, more so than anything, exemplifies Alabama football.
Kitchens to Curtis in the flat again, this time for a 2-yard gain, setting up a 2nd and 8 with 5:20 remaining in the first quarter. Riddle tries the right side, but an outstanding open field tackle by future Heisman Trophy winner Charles Woodson knocks Dennis to the ground. Freddie finds Calvin Hall on 3rd down, but he only picks up 3, and Bama needed 7. Punting time for Bama, but the Tide did chew up over 4 minutes on that drive. Michigan's offense is back on the field with 3:28 left in the first quarter. Greasy finds two-way player Charles Woodson on the quick slant, and he gains 12 before Samuel brings him down.
Out of the shotgun, Greasy gets the snap, unloads on the cross to Williams. Williams with blocking, accelerates 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. He could go, but here comes Ralph Staten to take the angle and put him down back at the 30-yard line. Ralph Staten, the talented linebacker, out-racing Clarence Williams, the tailback, on a touchdown-saving tackle after a 49-yard pickup.
The fired-up Bama D gets another jolt when Michael Myers, the big junior from Vicksburg, Mississippi, plants Williams for a loss of 3. With the clock reaching 0, Greasy finds Williams over the middle, but a nice stop by Fernando Bryant for no gain. Bama holds on to a slim 3-0 lead as the two teams switch ends. Second quarter action when Crimson Classics returns. One thing was for certain in the 1997 Outback Bowl, nothing, and I mean nothing, was going to come easy on the offensive side of the ball. Let's watch as these two traditional powers continue to slug it out.
Wolverines 1 of 3 and 3rd down. Greasy to throw. Steps back, lofting one, looking for Williams at the 5. It is knocked away, incomplete. Good coverage by the Crimson Tide's Dwayne Rudd, who went wide with the tailback Williams. And that was an interesting matchup there, and Dwayne stayed right with him.
That's right, Dwayne Rudd, a junior linebacker, regarded as a great one, and for just a moment, I was expecting a flag to be thrown because Dwayne did not watch the ball in, but he did not touch the receiver either, so it's incomplete.
1st and 10 from the 15. Redshirt freshman Sean Alexander takes it 19 yards for the first down. That's no fluke. Sean was the Kentucky High School Player of the Year in 1994. It's Sean again, but this time North Carolina native Ben Huff stops number 37 for a short gain. Unable to pick up the first down, Bama needs a boomer from Double Springs, Alabama's Hayden Stockton. And boy, did he get all of that one. A 50-yard bomb. Woodson with a nice return, though, up to the Wolverines' 30-yard line. On first down, Chris Floyd shoots up the middle and bulldozes over Andre Short. Andre was okay, but he did want to know who was driving that Mack truck. After the teams trade 5-yard penalties, Greasy connects with Jermaine Truman for 6. Cedric Samuels on the tackle. Michigan gets another 6 yards on 2nd down, this time on the ground with Clarence Williams. Michael Myers with the tackle. I told you Andre was okay, and you know what they say about paybacks. He drills Greasy, causing the incomplete pass on 2nd down. After Michigan picks up 13 yards, it's 1st and 10 from the Bama 32. Michigan's Chris Floyd up the middle for a big gain. After 2 big plays by Michigan set them up inside the Bama 20, it's time for the Bama D to step up.
Streets is wide to the far side, Shaw to the near side. Handoff Floyd, hit hard at the 20 on a dive play. It'll lose back to the 20-yard line. Dwayne Rudd clogged up the middle with a big-time stop. The play loses half a yard back to the 20. 2nd and 11 from the Bama 20. Griese, a two-step drop and a throw across the middle. Sails incomplete.
Griese at that time just overthrew the receiver. He couldn't have caught that one, I don't think, even with a butterfly net.
Two tight ends, one in motion to the near side. Floyd is the tailback. Griese under pressure. Staten comes blitzing from one side and Sigler from the other. They put Griese down for a big-time loss on a 3rd and 11 play all the way back to the 26-yard line. Big-time blitzing by Bama.
Bama's D keeps Michigan out of the end zone, but the Wolverines' Remy Hamilton notched the game at 3 with a 44-yard field goal. After the teams exchange punts, Bama starts deep in its own territory with 3:37 left in the first half. Riddle up the middle on first down, a gain of 1. On second down, Kitchens gets pressure from defensive end David Bowens and makes the first big mistake of the game. A pass intended for Vaughn is intercepted by Charles Woodson. Griese tries to flat on first down, but he overthrows Clarence Williams. Michael Myers slashes his way through the Michigan line and kills the play before it starts. Myers left after his junior year, but he would reprise his role as a killer defensive tackle with the NFL's Cowboys, Browns, and Broncos. On 3rd and 13, Griese hits Williams with the slip screen, and the Michigan workhorse gains 12 before Kelvin Sigler makes the stop. It looks for the moment like Bama has dodged a bullet, with Hamilton lining up for another 44-yard field goal attempt. But it's a fake. Holder and Mr. Do-Everything Brian Griese takes it 18 yards for the Michigan first down. Kelvin Sigler makes the touchdown-saving tackle. Just over a minute left, and it's 1st and goal with 8 yards between the maize and blue and 6 points. Chris Howard almost gets it all on one run. Despite having a timeout available, Griese spikes the ball, giving up 2nd down and setting up 3rd and goal from the 2 with 30 seconds left. And then with indecision on the Michigan sideline, the Wolverines take their last timeout. With 30 seconds and no timeouts, what will Coach Carr do? Michigan gambles. It's a play action from the 2 that looks like it might work until Tyrell Buckner catches Griese, but a big break for Michigan. On the tackle, Terrell knocks the ball out of bounds, giving them time to get the kicking team on the field. But Bama does hold the Wolverines out of the end zone. And there will be no fake this time. Hamilton drills the 22-yarder, putting the Wolverines up 6-3. The Tide went to the locker room down 3, but this game was just what Coach Stallings expected and wanted, a defensive struggle.
Welcome back to Tampa, Florida. Just talking here amongst ourselves, Tom Roberts points out the time of possession difference, 21 minutes and 7 seconds for Michigan, only 11:46 for Alabama, but still it's just a field goal kind of an afternoon.
That's right. Neither side has really been able to push the other around too much with their offense. It's been a defensive struggle, and Alabama made the crucial error, the only really error so far in the ballgame, by turning it over on an interception that eventually led to the tie-breaking field goal that put Michigan ahead by 3.
The big question for the good guys, can the offense start making some plays, and can the D continue to make big plays? Let's find out when we return to second half action on Crimson Classics. Alabama is moving the football as we rejoin the action on Crimson Classics. Bama's ball on the 20 to start the third quarter. Riddle for 4 yards on first down. A little play action on second down, and who says Bama never throws to the tight end? Patrick Hape reeled in the pass for 12 and a first down. Riddle tries the left side again, and another 4 yards. The right side wasn't as kind to Dennis. Michigan dropped him for a 1-yard loss. Michigan right in Mike Elston with good penetration on third down, and he breaks up Kitchen's attempt to find Curtis Alexander. Hayden Stockton punts again, and oh my goodness, did he ever crush that one. Woodson caught the ball at the 1 and did manage a 15-yard return. Stockton was credited with a 60-yard kick. How about that? On first down from the 16, Chris Howard finds a seam and hits it hard for 19 yards and a first down. That was Michigan's 9th first down of the day. Number 10 would not come on this play. Ralph Staten tackles Howard for a loss of 2. Greasy tries the deep ball on second down, but a fine defensive play by Fernando Bryant. On 3rd and 12, Greasy somehow avoids Michael Myers and Chris Hood and hits Alabama native Marcus Knight on a big 24-yard play. First down, Wolverines. On 2nd and 8, Lloyd Carr has something up his sleeve. Greasy laterals to Woodson, who pitches it back to Greasy. It was set up beautifully, but Bama caught a break when Greasy was tackled by the invisible man. The Michigan offense lost all of its momentum after Greasy slipped, and LaGrange's Georgia native Paul Pickett sacked Greasy on 3rd down. Coach Stallings and offensive coordinator Woody McCorvey try to inject some life into the offense.
Alabama now on the 1st and 10. Warren Faust, the quarterback, still optioned it out on the near side, and Riddle takes it to the 20-yard line. So Warren Faust on his first play at quarterback runs the option on the pitch out to the 20-yard line.
Warren Faust, of course, brings a different plate to the table for Alabama offensively. He loves to run the football. He just soon keep it, has taught it.
1st and 10, Bama from their own 20. Faust out of the shotgun. Warren calls the quarterback draw right up the middle of the 25, tripped up as he goes forward to the 28-yard line.
The sophomore from Midwest City, Oklahoma, might have been just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, Warren was the guy that came in, and in fact, I got a letter from Warren Faust when I was recruiting, and he said, if you're looking for a quarterback, don't look any longer because I'm your quarterback. And he was an outstanding high school player in Oklahoma. And as a rule of thumb, I like most of my guys to be Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, right around in here close. But I sort of liked that letter. And anyway, Warren came in and what an outstanding young man. But I don't think we beat Michigan if Warren Faust doesn't go in and run a few option plays and keeps the ball and gets us a little offense.
On 2nd down, it's Faust, option left. And lucky for him and the Tide, he recovers his own fumble. Another first down for Bama, and Warren Faust keeps for the 3rd straight play. He gains 11 around the right side, and Charles Woodson makes him pay. Riddle takes the handoff from the Bama 45, and it takes a nice open field tackle by Woodson to keep the former Central High Falcon from gaining more than 5. Faust rolls to his right on 2nd down, trying to attempt his first pass. Finding no one open, he scrambles into Wolverine territory. With the clock heading under 2 minutes left in the 3rd, Bama takes advantage of some confusion on the Michigan side. Riddle takes the option pitch for 19 yards and another Bama first down. No Michigan confusion this time as David Bowens brought Riddle down for a 6-yard loss. Disaster hits Bama on 2nd down. Marcel West takes the reverse from Michael Vaughn, gets popped, and out comes the pigskin. Bama's most promising drive since the 1st quarter ends with a turnover and the Wolverines holding on to their 6-3 lead. And as good teams will do, the Wolverines capitalize quickly. Williams takes the first down run 30 yards before Michael Fagan makes the stop. The 3rd quarter ends with Williams getting stuffed by Kelvin Moore for no gain. Greasy flips it to Williams, who somehow avoids a loss and manages 4 yards before being chased out of bounds by Ralph Staten. More action from Tampa when Crimson Classics returns. Can Alabama's defense stop the Wolverines as Crimson Classics continues? After an offsides penalty makes it 3rd and 1, a quarterback sneak gave the Wolverines another first down. The momentum was completely on Michigan's side at this point. Let's listen as Eli and Doug make the call.
Alabama back to the normal defensive front, handoff Williams. Bama clogs the middle, he'll kick it outside right. He's forward, scampering to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 9 on the play before Fernando Bryant is there on the stop for Alabama.
He is so fast, as we pointed out, he runs parallel to the line of scrimmage, and nobody can penetrate deep enough to get to him. And when he does find the opening, he cuts it upfield. That time, he managed to pick up almost 9 yards.
Payne, the center, did he move his hand on the football or rock it?
Jumped and touched him.
Snap, contact by the defense, offside, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And Mount Stallings is about to erupt like Mount Vesuvius across the way. He is pacing like a pent-up cat across the far side. 1st and 10, 15-yard line, handoff up the middle, opening, and a big run for Chris Floyd. He gets loose and is down to the 7-yard line before Cedric Samuel makes the stop. Handoff, big move by Bama, and Hood comes in to corral Chris Howard. Howard got the handoff and got drilled at the same time back out to the 11, so the play will lose 3, and it sets up a 3rd and 6 now for Michigan from the Alabama 11-yard line.
Boy, you'll never know how big that play was by Chris Hood. He kicked off the blocker. He moved by Trumaine and got to the runner. And if Alabama doesn't jump off sides again, they might force him into a field goal.
Man in motion, the tight end, Campbell, from the near to the far side. Greasy under pressure. Throws, intercepted by Rudd. Intercepted by Dwayne, 25, 30. He's going to go. Nobody is around but men in white. Dwayne Rudd, interception, 87 yards. Touchdown, Alabama.
We got to see who the guy was that was putting the pressure on Greasy, that was coming on a blitz. He got to Greasy and was throwing him to the ground when the ball was thrown, and Dwayne Rudd picked it off and took off 87 yards for the touchdown. And it's amazing how Alabama looked for a moment like the defense was a bit disorganized, wasn't really in control, and wham, they got the lead.
And you know what? The Michigan band has stopped playing.
Ziegler made a lot of good plays. Dwayne went ahead and played pro ball for a long time, had great speed. He was just a natural player. And, he picked off that ball and ran it down that sideline. And unless he just going to drop it, I felt like he was going to score because nobody was going to catch him. He was blessed with outstanding speed for a linebacker.
Well, Coach Stallings used to tell them guys all the time, so they'd heard it quite a bit. You win games with players making plays, and that's what Kelvin Sealer was, a tremendous football player. And, everybody, we constantly was teaching them, or Coach Stallings was talking to them about, somebody's got to make a play in a situation to win the game. And Kelvin did that, and of course Dwayne, took it full advantage of it. But I think you get 11 guys trying to make plays, and you're going to win games. Well, somebody along the way is going to have opportunities, whether they make it or not. And Kelvin made the play that day, and Dwayne made the play to intercept it and run it back for the touchdown.
John Brock's point after touchdown was good, and Michigan went from almost certainly extending its lead to being down by 4. Alabama 10, Michigan 6. To the air on first down, Russell Shaw gains 9 before Deshae Townsend makes the stop. Greasy squirts through for 3 and the Michigan first down. Greasy shows off his arm strength on first down, but this time he overthrows Shaw. Sylacauga native Marcus Knight continues to be a thorn in the Tide's side. He makes his 3rd catch of the day for 4 yards. Another offsides penalty against Bama makes it 3rd and short, and another quarterback sneak makes it 1st and 10. With the clock under 11 minutes, Williams weaves into the middle for 2 before Bryant brings him down. Michigan with a bit of luck on 2nd down. The ball ricochets off its intended receiver, and Ty Streets hauls it in for 10 and a first down. The Wolverines are in Bama territory. Another first down for Michigan, this time on the ground. Williams stiff arms his way for 12. The Wolverines are moving into field goal range. Greasy trying to find Streets again. But a nice play by Fernando Bryant takes care of that. It's 2nd and 10 from the Bama 33. Back to the ground, Williams for 3. Greasy has time to throw on 3rd and 7, but his deep ball zooms past Knight and out of the end zone. With the clock under 9 minutes, Remy Hamilton sets up for a 48-yard field goal that would pull Michigan to within 1, but his kick is wide right. A tired but triumphant Tide defense finally takes a breather, still up 10-6. On 2nd and 7, Coach Stallings sends in Warren Faust again, hoping to give the offense a little pickup. It seems to work. But wait a minute, Riddle's nice run is called back because of a holding call. On 2nd and 17, Faust up the middle for 2. On 3rd and long, it's Kitchens from the shotgun, but it's almost a nightmare for Freddie as Michigan's Glenn Steele slashes through the line and disrupts the pass. Hendricks almost brings it down for a Rudd-like interception that would have been a certain 6 for the Wolverines. After a 47-yard punt by Stockton, it's Michigan from the 23. Greasy finds Shaw for 18 yards, and what a great grab that was by Shaw. Greasy with all day finds Shaw again, this time for 26 yards, and with 2 plays, Michigan is back on Bama's side of the field. Coach Carr attempts some trickeration, but All-American Ralph Staten was Johnny on the spot and stopped Shaw for a loss of 1. Greasy under center, hands to Williams. Bingo! Big dog Michael Myers stops Williams before he can get started, a loss of 5. Defense, defense, and defense. That's been the name of the game on this New Year's Day, as it has been the entire 7-year tenure of Coach Gene Stallings. But hang on, the offenses will try to take center stage as we wrap up this 1997 Outback Bowl when Crimson Classics returns. It's 4th quarter action on Crimson Classics. With the clock closing in on 4 minutes remaining, Greasy is looking to make up for the ground lost, but he overshoots freshman Clarence Williams. Hoping to pin Bama deep and get the ball back in good field position, Greasy drops back to pooch punt. But instead of rolling toward the end zone, it rolls out of bounds. Bama's ball at the 22.
Now here are the pertinents in the ball game. We have 4 minutes and 24 seconds to play. Alabama leading 10-6 with the football. The Tide has all of their timeouts remaining. Michigan is down to their final 2. And the Tide would just love to put this one away, even the count against Michigan, and let Coach Gene Stallings head home with his 70th win. Freddie Kitchens at quarterback. John Causey is the center. The single running back, Sean Alexander. He'll get the handoff, goes to the far side of the field, turns it up north-south. He's across the 30, 35, down to the 36-yard line. First down, Alabama. Big run there as he went laterally for a while, then saw the opening behind the blocking on the right side, and he turned it upfield for a 13-yard gain out to the Michigan 36-yard line. And the clock on the move as they move the chains, closing in on 4 minutes remaining. The quarterback is Kitchens. Freddie on the give. Sean Alexander, nothing there. He will lose a yard back to the 35. But again, the Tide intent at this point to keeping the clock moving. 3:35 to go. Here's a 2nd and 10 now from their own 36 for Bama. Kitchens on the handoff. Sean Alexander reads the seam. 45-50 into Wolverine territory. First down, 47-yard line. He was stacked up at the line of scrimmage, maybe for a gain of a yard, but Sean waited and waited and waited and then saw a hole for 17 yards And most importantly, it keeps the clock on the roll, and Alabama in control of the offense. Single running back Shaun Alexander. He gets the handoff. Here comes the blitz. He'll break the tackle and manages to get a couple of yards. Big crowd, a lot of enthusiasm. And I'll tell you, you got Michigan and Alabama on the field together. Doesn't get a whole lot bigger than this. May not be for the national championship, but two of America's most storied football franchises battling it out here in Tampa, Florida today. Bama breaks the huddle on a 2nd and 8. Kitchens the quarterback. Travis Smith ahead of Alexander in the eye. Vaughn in motion. Handoff Shaun Alexander. The blitzing man overruns the play. Alexander 25-30. He's to the 20. He's to the 15. He's to the 10. To the 5. Touchdown. 46 yards. Touchdown Alabama. Touchdown Alabama. The Tide is going to give Gene Stallings his 70th win at the Capstone in just 2 minutes and 15 seconds from now. Big time run for Shaun Alexander. Got a great block allowing him to turn the corner. He then outraced one man who tried to tackle his ankles, and he didn't stop until the words Tampa Bay were facing him in the end zone. And Gene Stallings with a huge, huge smile on his face on the sidelines. Now the extra point. Bad snap, but it is picked up by Tucker and kicked through by Brock. And now with 2:15 to go in the ball game. Alabama's up 17-6.
Up by 11 with 2:16 to go. Bama plays a little prevent defense. With 2:10 to go in the game, Greasy overshoots Woodson, and Bama's Kelvin Sigler almost ends the game with an interception. Michigan picks up the first down as the clock goes under 2 minutes. Greasy looks to hit Russell Shaw, but a nice play by Fernando Bryant breaks the pass up. With the clock running as slow as molasses, it seems, Greasy misses Williams, setting up 3rd and 10. Greasy from the shotgun can't find anyone and scrambles toward the sideline for a big first down. Greasy brings the maize and blue toward the center of the field with this pitch. Greasy back to pass, looking deep, finds Williams over the middle for 41 yards. A nice tackle by Andre Short. With 1:16 left, Greasy finds the end zone for 6 and adds the 2-point conversion. It's not over yet. Alabama leads 17-14. Now everybody in the house knows what's about to happen, an onside kick. It's a good one, takes a long bounce. Michigan has a chance, but Bama's Chad Goss makes the catch. Alabama football. After recovering the onside kick, Kitchen runs out the clock, and the Tide has done it. Alabama 17, Michigan 14. Gene Stallings had won his 70th game at the helm of the Alabama Crimson Tide. His overall record at Alabama, 70, 16, and 1. That's a winning percentage of .805, and that is not too shabby.
He had 70 victories in 7 years, and that's 10 a year. You know, those are phenomenal numbers in the sense that he'll compare with anybody in the history of college football.
Alabama gave me a chance. You know, Coach Bryant gave me my first job. Can you imagine coming out of college and being an assistant coach at the University of Alabama? I'm making $4,500 a year. I thought I had the absolute best job in the world. Now times changed a little bit. Now, not only was I fired at Texas A&M, I was fired at the Cardinals. And, you know, it happens to a lot of coaches. But here, Alabama gives me another chance. Hootie Ingram and Dr. Sayers give me a chance to coach back at Alabama. It brings tears to my eyes just to think of the confidence that those guys would have in me to come and coach here. And so I was going to do everything I possibly could not to disappoint them.
The Outback Bowl victory capped off a terrific 7-season career for Gene Stallings at the helm of the Tide. He sits in the annals of Crimson Tide lore as a national championship coach and one of only 4 coaches to win better than 80% of his games, joining Wallace Wade, Frank Thomas, and his mentor, Paul Bryant. Gene Stallings, a great coach and a great man. For the Bryant Museum, I'm Gary Harris. To purchase a DVD of this program, visit the Paul W. Bryant Museum at www.bryant.ua.edu or call 1-866-772-BEAR.